My Lords, I rise to make three very brief points, and I wish to join, first of all, other noble lords in paying tribute to the noble Lady Baroness Stroud, who I believe has shown real bravery and great leadership this evening in moving these amendments from the government benches, and also the noble Lord Freud, for doing likewise, and I commend the others who've supported them. My second point is constitutional. And this really builds on what the noble Lord Hodgson said. Noble lords may know from history that there's been a real shift in attitudes toward innovation. In the Middle Ages, innovation was a slur, a way of attacking people to say it was an innovation. In the modern world, where you normally think of this as being, a wonderful thing, it's innovation. The government likes to celebrate innovations. But we've seen lots of innovations in our constitution from the government, but it doesn't seem to like what it sees as other people's innovations, even though the noble Lady Baroness Stroud, I think, by setting out very clearly a number of examples of precedent to say that what she and others are doing here is not indeed an innovation at all. But I want to go back to some considerable number of hours ago now to the Environment Bill, and noble lords who have covered both bills may have seen where we saw the noble Duke, the Duke of Wellington, a crossbencher, indeed a hereditary peer, who led the charge, a very cross-party charge, to a point where we eventually saw the government reversing its position. Crucially, after there had been a huge public outcry about the condition of the treatment of water companies dumping sewage into our rivers and our oceans. What happened was, my lords, and this is a very weird situation from our dysfunctional constitution arising over centuries of historical accident, it was the House of Lords that enabled the people to speak and the people to express their views in a way that eventually changed the minds of MPs. Now, I would say to your Lordship's House that were we to go forward from this point, and for these debates to be enabled, I have absolutely no doubt that we would see from the people of this country the voters speaking very, very loudly and clearly through the means of social media, through the means of letters to their MPs, phone calls to their MPs, etc., their very strong views on the matter of the £20 universal credit uplift. And your Lordship's House could have the opportunity to make that happen. That would be, I would argue, intensely democratic. Now, my third point is just very brief. The noble lady, the minister sitting beside the leader of the House, knows that the circumstances of the universal credit, its inadequacy, of low wages, of insecure employment, of 0 hours contracts, have given me many opportunities to plague her by talking about universal basic income. Now, I think the noble Lady Baroness Lister and many others have made hugely powerful points about the dreadful human impacts of the cut to universal credit. But I would ask your Lordships to consider, do you believe in the human right to life? A right to life implies access to food, to shelter, to heating, in winter certainly, to the basics of security. And that's what this amendment is about. And we're talking basic universal human rights, and that surely has to be a matter for your Lordship's House.